Hello, my name is Colleen Hayles. I'm an education consultant for the Connecticut State Department of Education, serving in that role for over 10 years. As a consultant in the Bureau of Special Education, I am responsible for providing support and guidance to educators, administrators, and parents. My current work focuses on the approval process for approved private special education programs, issues related to the use of restraint and seclusion in schools, supports to students with emotional behavioral issues, and supports to low incidence populations. I'm happy to be presenting to you today with my colleague, Alycia Trakas. I will let Alycia introduce herself now.
Hello, my name is Alycia Trakas. I am also an education consultant for the Connecticut State Department of Education, serving in that role for about a year and a half. As a consultant in the Bureau of Special Education, I am responsible for providing support and guidance to educators, administrators, and parents. My current work focuses on managing the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, or IDEA, Part B, Indicator 13, Secondary Transition, and Indicator 14, Post-School Outcomes, and managing educational initiatives in the area of specific learning disabilities, SLD, including SLD dyslexia, as well as secondary transition. We are honored to represent the Bureau of Special Education under the leadership of Brian Klimkowitz, Special Education Division Director. The Bureau's mission is to provide leadership to ensure that students with disabilities receive a free, appropriate public education that prepares them for college or training, employment, independent living, and community participation, and to ensure compliance with special education laws and regulations.
Alycia and I, along with Deb Richards and Nicole Natale from the RESC Alliance, Jane Hampton-Smith and Jennifer Lucier from the Connecticut Parent Advocacy Center, and Karen Helene and Anna Wittig from the Connecticut Association of Private Special Education Facilities, CAPSEF, work close collaboratively to oversee the development of a resource designed specifically for parents and caregivers of students with high needs to support your efforts to engage your child or young adult in continued educational opportunities during the COVID-19 pandemic. We are excited to be presenting to you today with Deb and Nicole, who will introduce themselves to you now.
Hello, my name is Deborah Richards, and I am the Director of Student Services for CREC, the Capital Region Education Council. I've been at CREC for the past 10 years, overseeing programs that annually serve approximately 3,000 students ages birth through 21 and their families. I formerly worked for the Connecticut State Department of Education and the Connecticut Department of Mental Retardation.
Hello, my name is Nicole Natale. I am a Senior Education Specialist for CREC. By trade, I am a speech-language pathologist and assistive technology specialist. I've been working with individuals with disabilities and their families for over 18 years now. I work for the CREC Resource Group, which provides technical assistance, training, and services to educational teams and districts throughout the Hartford, Connecticut region.
We are honored to represent the RESC Alliance, Connecticut's Alliance of Regional Education Service Centers, or RESCs. RESCs are nonprofit, fee-for-service public education agencies, and their mission is to provide quality, cost-effective education resources, programs, and services to the state's public schools. Nicole and I were thrilled to be able to work collaboratively with Colleen and Alycia from the Department of Education. In addition, our colleagues Jane Hampton-Smith and Jennifer Lucier from the Connecticut Parent Advocacy Center and with Karen Helene and Anna Wittig from the Connecticut Association of Private Special Education Facilities to oversee the development of this resource to support parents and caregivers of students with high needs during the COVID-19 pandemic. Although Jane, Jennifer, Karen, and Anna are not on this overview and getting started webinar, they were instrumental in the creation of this resource guide. As sections of the resource guide are finalized, you will be hearing from them along with other members of our organizations who contributed to the content of those sections.
The goal of our session today is to provide you with an update of BSE activities, as well as to provide you with an overview of a new resource for parents and caregivers to support your efforts to engage your child or young adult in continued educational opportunities in the home. This resource can be easily accessed using the web address shown on the screen. We hope you and your loved ones are well during this difficult and challenging time. As the COVID-19 pandemic has unfolded, what was once a short-term school closure has now extended to long-term closures through May 20th. Throughout this time, please know that the State Department of Education, the RESC Alliance, CPAC, and CAPSEF have been working to support families and educators as we navigate a situation that we've never experienced before in our lifetime. It is important for you to know that information and health conditions within our state are constantly changing. As such, please understand that the information that we share at this point in time will need to be updated frequently as new information becomes available.
The CSDE building in Hartford remains open. However, at this time, most of our team is working from home. Our required responsibilities for the Bureau of Special Education remain. However, our team has devoted most of our attention to supporting students, families, and educators during the COVID-19 cancellation of classes. We are fully operational and here for you. Throughout the last several weeks, the State Department of Education leadership team has met frequently to mobilize our efforts to support educators and families in the following ways. Guidance. The BSE have been in frequent communication with our colleagues from other states and with the federal government, who has released formal documents that have helped states to navigate this situation. These documents can be accessed on the U.S. Department of Education website using the web address shown on the screen. Based upon the information we have received at this time, the BSE released a guidance document to school districts to address safety, the emphasis on frequent communication between school and home, continued educational opportunities for students with IEPs or individual education programs, and special education procedural requirements. Additionally, the BSE has released a guidance document to school districts to address continued educational opportunities and approved private special education programs. The BSE has also released a guidance document to address due process requests. These documents will be updated frequently because, as Colleen mentioned earlier, as this pandemic unfolds, information and conditions change at a rapid pace. The IDEA does not address situations in which there are statewide school closures due to a health crisis. But the federal government has encouraged states and schools to engage in reasonable efforts and to use a common sense approach during such times. The BSE would like to thank CPAC for working collaboratively with us, as well as gathering information directly from parents as we develop guidance, resources, and supports for parents and families during this health crisis. Resources. The BSC consultants have been collaborating with the RESC Alliance, CREC, the State Education Resource Center, CPAC, and CAPSEF, as well as our national partners, to gather resources to support families in the home who are beginning to receive continued educational opportunities. The BSC has a dedicated web page to providing guidance and resources for COVID-19 to school and district leaders, educators, and families, which can be accessed using the web address shown on the screen. The Special Education COVID-19 Resources for Families page includes information in the following categories: federal guidance, CSDE and state resources, talking with children about COVID-19, and support for families. A link to the resource we are showcasing for you today can be found on this page. Additionally, the CSDE has developed a series of resources to support student learning during school closures due to COVID-19, as well as a professional support series for families and a professional support series for districts, which can be accessed from the web address shown on your screen. Support. Many of our consultants are working from home, but our offices are open and operational. The BSC has dedicated 2 education consultants specifically to answer your questions related to COVID-19 and special education. Please call the BSC at 860-713-6910 or send your emails to j.brown@ct.gov and Jim Moriarty at james.moriarty@ct.gov.
The purpose of this guide is to provide parents and caregivers of students with high needs guidance, tools, and resources to help support your efforts to engage your child or young adult in continued educational opportunities during the COVID-19 pandemic. To support parents and caregivers of students with high needs, the RESC Alliance has coordinated with the State Department of Education, the Connecticut Parent Advocacy Center, and the Connecticut Association of Private Special Education Facilities to assemble online resources. There is a lot of information and resources being provided to assist with navigating continued educational opportunities for students with and without disabilities. Yet we recognize that some students have significant challenges accessing distance learning in these more conventional methods. There are students who are unable to sit in front of a computer screen to access learning. Some students require a hands-on, life skill embedded method of instruction. These resources were designed with that population of students in mind. These resources have been organized into 10 different topical categories and are meant to assist parents and caregivers to navigate the world of continued educational opportunities. These resources are not meant as a substitute for the work families and district personnel have developed as a team, but as a supplemental resource to assist with developing engaging activities for students throughout the day. Throughout this time, please know that the RESC Alliance, the Connecticut State Department of Education, the Connecticut Parent Advocacy Center, and the Connecticut Association of Private Special Ed Facilities have been working to support families and educators as we navigate the COVID-19 pandemic. It is important for you to know that the information and the health conditions within our state are changing rapidly. As such, please understand that the information that we share at this point in time will need to be updated frequently as new information becomes available. The 10 different topical categories include getting started, communication skills, literacy, math, science, social studies, and current events, physical activity and mobility, life skills and self-help skills, art, sensory activities, and play and leisure. During today's session, Nicole will walk you through the Getting Started section. As stated earlier, as the remaining sections of this resource guide become finalized, you will be hearing from the other members of our organizations who contributed to the content of those sections to provide you with a brief explanation of the information and resources contained in each section as you support your son or daughter with high needs.
Getting Started is an introduction to the supporting parents and caregivers of students with high needs during the COVID-19 pandemic resource guide. This section is a great place for parents and caregivers to start as you navigate supporting your student with continued educational opportunities. It includes tips, suggestions, and resources that may be easily accessed using the web address on your screen. Supporting continued educational opportunities for students during the COVID-19 pandemic is a challenge for any parent or caregiver. However, it is of particular challenge for students who have high needs. Communication with school-based teams, the creation of schedules and routines, and setting of expectations are of utmost importance. Getting Started is made up of 3 main sections, each with tips and suggestions on how to put the information presented into practice, as well as some additional resources that may be helpful. The first section provides some functional tips related to establishing and maintaining consistent communication with your school-based team. As Deb mentioned, this is meant to be a supplemental resource for families, in addition to the work you are coordinating with your student's school program. The second section provides information related to self-care for the parent or caregiver so that they can be strong, supportive caregivers to their loved ones. Each and every one of us experience the increased stress of juggling multiple roles in our home environment. This is magnified if you have a family member who requires extensive supervision and engagement. We hope these resources will assist families with including self-care activities as part of their daily routine. The third and final section provides information related to setting up the environment for continued educational opportunities at home so that students have an organized place dedicated to completing academic work. We also hope that these resources will assist families with identifying natural learning opportunities for their child throughout the daily routine.
Thank you, Deb and Nicole, for partnering with us today to showcase our new resource, supporting parents and caregivers of students with high needs during COVID-19 pandemic, and review the Getting Started section. It has been an honor collaborating with you, Jane Hampton-Smith and Jennifer Lucier at CPAC, and Karen Colleen and Anna Wittig at CAPSEF in our effort to provide guidance, resources, and support for parents, caregivers, and families. We sincerely thank the members within our organization shown on the screen for their contributions to this resource. As the remaining sections of this resource guide become finalized, you will be hearing from other members of our organizations who contributed to the content of those sections to provide you with a brief explanation of the information and resources contained in each section as you support your student with high needs. And remember, we will get through this challenging time together. Thank you for your time and attention. We wish you and your family health and happiness during this trying time. Be safe.